Well, we're here today with Tim Watson, our local advice attorney who keeps us informed and up to date on all things legal. Tim, I have heard you say before that the job of an attorney is to apply the law to the facts, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I do say that a lot.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me
Welcome
here.
back.
Yeah, so apply the law to the facts. What that means is what we really do is tell the story. We're there to make sure our client's story is heard and understood. It's not to litigate, it's not to argue with other attorneys, it's to make sure that our client's story is heard. And everybody's different. You know, you have two people who are involved in a head-on collision, different times, same age, driving the same kind of car in the same spot, both hit with drunk drivers. You think the law is going to be the same in each case.
You would assume, yeah.
You'd assume. The law is different because the facts are different. They're always different. And so my job, really, is to make sure that I am telling the individual story that belongs to my client and then making it work inside the law and all the procedure that happens in the law.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so when you say you're applying the law into the stories, that brings all of the legal procedures into the mix.
Yeah, that's right. And so unfortunately, or fortunately actually, the law is mostly procedure.
Okay.
It's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. There are things that you have to do. There's deadlines that you have to meet. And to somebody who isn't comfortable working with it, and often to people who are comfortable working with it, it can seem kind of dumb sometimes that you've got to do all of this stuff. And it can make it a little bit more difficult to get that story told. Whether you have been hurt, or you've got a property dispute, or you are having a custody fight, it is a little bit difficult if you don't know how to jump through those hoops and make them work for you to go into a courtroom and actually be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm curious, with all this kind of legalese and the procedures that you're talking about, what is the biggest hurdle to getting people's stories told correctly?
Yeah, so often the biggest hurdle is just filing the lawsuit. There's a statute of limitations. For people that have been injured, it's typically 3 years. If it is a medical injury, you only have 2 years. And so in the case of medical malpractice, for instance, you're hurt, you know that the hospital or the doctor did something wrong. You can't file your suit unless you have a doctor that you have worked with tell you exactly what the negligence is. So you file your suit past the statute of limitations, you haven't hired a doctor, your case gets dismissed and you're done. And so just getting into the courtroom often is the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
With all of that, once the case is filed and, procedure continues, how do you kind of keep that focus on your client's story?
So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the job. I mean, you have all of these things that you've got to do in terms of making sure the other party knows what you're saying and they know it at the right time. There's deadlines for producing the evidence that you're going to produce. They have to do the same thing. And so the goal is not to try to tick those boxes just so you can get to the courtroom. The goal is to work with the procedure.
Sure.
And use that procedure so that you develop your client's story all through the lawsuit. So that when you get to the courtroom, you're ready to tell it. Everybody knows this is the story, and now you actually get to show it to the judge and the jury.
And so speaking of that, when the day comes and you're actually in court with your client, what is it that you do there?
Well, I mean, so that's where we actually get to do the story part of it, I am kind of the MC of my client's case. And I have gathered the evidence that needs to be gathered from the other side and gotten the evidence that I need to get from my client and from our side. And I put that all together to help supplement my client's story. If the other side is telling a different story, then I have got the evidence to show that maybe what they're saying isn't actually true, or there are some problems with it that the judge and the jury need to consider.
Yeah.
So once I get in there, we're telling the story.
Yeah. And if you want Tim to tell your story, MGW Law Partners is the place to go. Thanks
That's
for
right.
joining us today,
Yeah.
Tim.
Tim.
Always
Great to be back, guys. Always.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love having you on. You see some contact details there on your screen.